Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Lords of Xulima, a role-playing game from apparently 2014, which is absolutely blowing my mind because I don't know what even is the passage of time anymore. It's been sitting in my Steam library for apparently close to 10 years at this point. Like, holy crap. And I've been meaning to play it. It always looked intriguing to me, and you know, it's I always got the impression that it's a lengthy, somewhat old-schoolish RPG, you know, with a party and turn-based combat and all that. And you have to be in the mood for that. I have to be in the mood for that, and I have to find a, you know, kind of space in my life for that, and I guess now is that time. And I'm excited to finally see if my excitement for it was justified. Anyway, without even further ado, I'm going to click New Game and see what happens. Well, difficulty selection, pretty standard. Interesting. So normal is the, like, easiest, I guess. I mean, I'm definitely not going hardcore. What is old school veteran? Because I am certainly a veteran of some old school games and some games that are modeled after old school games. Some experience with other classic okay, I mean, yeah. You want a challenging adventure. Yeah, to an extent. If it's a reasonable challenge. If it's well balanced, sure. Absolutely. The recommended difficulty that Lords of Xulima was designed to be played... Okay, I mean, in that case, why not name this normal? Well, okay, fair enough. It's kind of aimed...
So deep was I sleeping that I felt as if I were drowning in the darkness and silence.
Instant story
time itself had stopped. I was on the Isle of Brina, far from the great war that consumed the grand continent of Rodinia. I heard a voice whispering in my ears, and I felt as if my body was being lifted up. I could not open my eyes, but I could see the firmament clearly, as if I had been pulled up to the stars.
Gowlin, hear the voice of Golad, the architect, the master of dreams and constructor of matter. The world is in agony. The guardian of souls is gaining power over the lords of Xulima. Our strength diminishes. I have watched you from the stars. I have chosen you to be my herald, my hand on earth. You must complete the mission I am giving you. Eradicate the evil that profanes the divine temples of the creators. Gather your party and sail to Xulima, where no other men from the west have set foot. Let the currents of Naliet and the breath of Taliet guide you to your destiny.
Naliet, Taliet.
The voice trailed into the stars, like a whisper carried away on the winds. Finally, I was able to open my eyes. Had it all been a dream? I wished it were so, but I knew it was real.
Okay, this is not the cinematic I was talking about, by the way, so I'm not sure exactly how to handle that.
My world was dying. I was called forth by one of the 9 gods to set sail for Xulima, their homeland, where no mortal had ever tread. But they had already abandoned it, and their new lords awaited my arrival to claim my soul.
Okay, I'm assuming that you're back from watching that opening, and, well, I haven't actually watched it. I only saw the first couple seconds of it because I skipped it, thinking that we would watch it later together, but I guess that would be awkward to do right now, so... Well, whatever interesting details are in there, and any lore that I probably should know before heading into the game, I will only know, I guess, starting with episode 2, because for now I'm just going to continue recording. Creating your party. Now you must generate the group of 5 characters that will accompany Golan. Oh, so 6 total. I guess Golan is going to be predefined or something? You may choose to create those characters or use the default group. The lazy part of me wants to go with the default group, but no. The role player in me obviously has to create a custom party. Not knowing anything about the engine, the system, you know, the meta. What could possibly go wrong? In order for the journey to start, you have to create 5 characters who will accompany Golan in his travels. Currently in the party, Golan, class Explorer, which I'm okay with. Gender, man. 24 HP, 6 PP. Power points, I'm assuming. A random character. Ooh, I do like randomization. Wait, can we... Oh. Okay. I see. So we could keep re-rolling. Lethalian, class Thief. Woman, yes, 20 HP, 5 PP. I do like Thief characters. Their usefulness varies greatly between various role-playing systems. From super overpowered to completely useless, to basically useless. I don't know how much utility they provide here, if there's a lot of use for, you know, finding traps and disarming traps, opening locks and the like. I do like having that. I also wonder if an Explorer might not also come with those you know, more practical adventuring skills. I don't tend to make use of, you know, pickpocketing and, you know, actually stealing, actually using thieves for, well, being thieves, other than, you know, the normal looting that goes on in any RPG. But I do like the idea of, you know, being sneaky and using short, stabby weapons. So, sure, let's go with her. Why not? Lethalian. I guess the portrait is fine. Okay, Tuldurk the Barbarian. 38 HP. I mean, I do like barbarians as well. I like the idea of a barbarian character. And I guess I haven't really had the chance, or well, I had the chance, I suppose, but I just didn't play with many barbarian characters in games that I have played. So sure, why not? We definitely want at least one strong physical fighter. I'm assuming that our main character is going to be capable as a melee fighter mostly, or maybe he could go in any direction. But yeah, having like a really strong, bulky, tanky kind of guy. Although barbarian might not be very tanky, and I mean, he has a lot of hit points at least. That makes me somewhat optimistic about his tanking abilities. Perhaps he might be more of a, you know, a strong offense, basically no defense kind of guy. But we'll see. I'm sure it's gonna work out. I mean, are these actually random though, or is the game giving me like a balanced class here, a balanced class, balanced party? Because so far, this seems, you know, pretty much like the kinds of characters I would create. I mean, yeah, a mage, Danthalion, Lethalion, Danthalion. Honestly, not super happy with the names. Danthalion, maybe I like that better than Lethalion, to be quite honest. Also, I cannot actually select a character, so remove current character. I guess I'm assuming it's gonna remove the most recent one. That's unfortunate. I'd kind of like to create a different thief character. I would like to go with a thief, but maybe not this one specifically. Okay. Kind of wish it would let me select. Maybe after I create 5 characters, it's gonna allow me to edit the party. So I'm gonna keep going for now. So yeah, the mage is fine. Let's actually see what character creation looks like when you do it manually. Shall we? So what else would I like to do? Well, let's go for another man, I suppose. Ooh. Portrait first, huh? And wait, these are all the options? Hold on. That can't be right. Unless, no, I suppose it would make sense that it doesn't let me, if it didn't let me choose the same portrait twice. That's an interesting kind of armor? That does look like metal armor, but only on the lower half of the face. Okay, maybe we'd like to have another kind of fighter guy. Or should I go for some sort of archer, perhaps? I guess it could be this one here, or, well, this guy, yeah. You can see the arrows there, so I guess this is your typical, stereotypical archer. I guess I kind of like this one better. Oh boy. I suppose this is also a chance to learn a bit more about the classes. Thieves, despite their questionable origins, are masters in the manipulation of mechanical objects and devices. Okay. They have an affinity towards picking locks, yeah, as well as spotting and disarming lethal traps, as you would expect. In addition, the thief's cunning allows him to perceive secret doors and hidden switches, which most would miss. I do like that a lot. Although, again, the adventurer or explorer might also be somewhat proficient in those skills. In combat, they favor fast strikes and mobility, right? Fair enough. Resistances, initial skills, swords, daggers, bows and crossbows, armors, lockpicking, perception, trap disarming, shurikens. Shurikens, okay. Shuriken, why not? Strength, constitution, agility, speed, okay. So especially high speed and somewhat high agility. Okay, as opposed to... How many classes do we have here? Wait, these are all? Okay, so Explorer is special and not something you can pick. That's for your main character only. Kind of like the hero class in Dragon Quest. I mean, I do like paladins. Do we have a specific... So we don't specifically have an archer class, which is interesting. I guess a thief could go archer. He does start with bows and crossbows, which is a skill. It doesn't look like... Oh, never mind. I was going to say it doesn't look like anyone starts with their initial skills higher than 1, but the soldier somehow has 2 in their starting skills. Interesting. Soldiers are warriors who have been trained in the wielding of weapons and execution of powerful techniques, able to handle complex weapons with relative ease, and equip the heaviest of armors. The soldier is a sturdy frontline combatant. Yeah, makes sense. Magic realm mentalism. Okay, wait, does everyone have magic? Divine energy. Ah, yes, okay. And the barbarian, the most battle-hardened of all warriors, wielding their instinct like a weapon, but hopefully also wielding a weapon like a weapon. A barbarian's physical strength and stamina are unmatched, so it comes as no surprise that they rely on brute force rather than technique to overcome their foes. I'm totally okay with that. Even a lightly armored barbarian can be fairly difficult to take down. Good. That sounds decent enough, and they also start with 2 in most of their skills, alright? They have a skill called Rage. Interestingly, only level 1. I don't suppose... Yeah, soldiers don't rage, of course. They're more composed, better trained. Okay, I mean, obviously I want some sort of healer, right? I also feel like... Well, maybe another spellcaster? I guess I could always make my thief... Actually, I could make my thief an archer. I don't know how this combat system works. I'm going into this completely blind. All I know is that exploration is isometric, top-down, and combat is a separate mode where you basically... I'm assuming something, or I'm imagining something kind of wizardry-like, where you see your enemies from the first-person perspective, basically, from your party's perspective. But it's a turn-based system, so yeah, I mean, something like Wizardry or Bard's Tale or any number of... or Dragon Quest, for that matter. Any number of old-school turn-based RPG systems. And so I'm not sure, though, if there are specific, like, front and back rows, for example, and if you can only have so many front-row fighters. Either way, I'm assuming that our main character is going to be in the front row, or can be in the front row. The barbarian, obviously, is going to be. And I am interested in the paladin class. I wonder if they're suitable as the only healer in a group. Divine soldiers and protectors by the people, seen as such. They spend as much time training for combat as they do worshipping their deity. The auras and blessings a paladin brings with him are invaluable to any group. Maces and hammers, pole weapons, armors, aura of healing. Aura of healing sounds good, but I do wonder if that's enough. Because we have a proper cleric, of course. Devoted to a deity and enjoy a unique communion with their chosen god. So long as they are devoted, they are able to manifest various divine powers in times of need. These powers can protect the group, repel wicked beings, and heal injuries. And it seems like you really, really need some kind of healer, right? Divine magic, of course. Pole weapons? Pole weapons. Interesting. I wonder if there's a thing where you can have a fighter in the back row and use long-reaching weapons to still... attack with melee, or attack physically from the safety of the back row. I mean, what else? Why else would there be pole weapons other than flavor? I suppose. Maces and hammers, more classic, I suppose. light heal. Okay, so spells, I guess, are skills. Okay, the paladin does not start with that, right? No, he does aura of healing. I'm intrigued by the idea of trying to go with a paladin as my healer and additional frontliner. Since my other dedicated fighter is not so much focused on protection, right? But the paladin would be. And maybe with two strong, at least two presumably pretty strong frontline fighters, that healing aura might be enough. And he might also be able to learn proper healing magic. He probably will. Like, he has the same magic realm as the cleric. And he is basically a cleric, just one with more combat training. I am also very intrigued by Divine Summoner. Divine Summoner has a very special divine power such that when he concentrates, he can bring the heralds of the gods to Earth. These mythological beings act according to their own wills on the behalf of the summoner. Their physical existence is brief and requires an immense power that few are able to master. That sounds like an advanced class. Summon Herald of Nalayet and Summon Herald of Raznet. Okay. One of those names was mentioned in the intro we saw before the intro. But I don't know that we know what kind of creature or kind of god, I suppose, that is, or what creatures these would be. It's possible that since the Divine Summoner is also using the Divine Magic School, that some of those heralds might also actually heal the party, so they could be an additional supporting character. Very intriguing. Of course, well, we have Arcane Soldier, which I didn't even look at yet. Arcane Soldiers believe that power is achieved through mastery of both steel and magic. While an Arcane Soldier cannot wear equipment as easily as the soldier, they make up for it by imbuing their weapon of choice with powerful elemental magic, allowing them to deliver blows which are effective against most enemies. That does sound interesting. It's another somewhat unique class. I mean, there are kind of similar concepts here and there, I suppose, but it's not something you see most of the time. It's certainly intriguing. But at this point, we don't really need another fighter. I suppose I could always go for an Arcane Soldier instead of a Paladin and, you know, go for a more traditional full-on healer, I suppose. Or healer/supporter. I don't know, I feel like trying the Paladin. How the Paladin in this particular system works out. And bards, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of a bard, but then again, I never really feel like playing as a bard or having a bard in my party necessarily because, well, I guess it depends. But you know, typically they're really all about support. I don't know, I suppose it depends. I'm sure there are scenarios where a bard can be really powerful, really carry the group, but this definitely, it usually to me feels like it's going to be too much work to actually make good use of, you know, having to really juggle, having all the abilities, play the right tune for the right scenario, and it just sounds like a lot of work. I'm sure it can be very effective, but I don't know that I necessarily want to use it. Musicians and singers with a profound passion for songs which can inspire the group in combat or send the enemy down a spiral of madness. So yeah, debuffs in combat, sure, okay. But again, without having experienced the game before, or having no experience with the game, it's impossible to know whether debuffs are going to be absolutely overpowered and crucial to success, or basically useless because they never work on those enemies that you absolutely want them to work on, like bosses and, you know, other strong enemies. And when in doubt, typically debuffs tend to not be that powerful against, you know, those particularly dangerous encounters. I guess more often than not that's the case. So statistically, yeah. Anyway, no strangers to the acquisition of gold. They are also fairly good at appraising items. Ooh, I do like item appraisal, but they don't actually even start with that skill, so unless it's something, they're like inherent strengths to different classes, which aren't just, you know, represented in their set of starting skills, then yeah, I don't know. I guess I could have my thief or anyone specialize in that, or maybe even my explorer main character. Could make him a bit of a jack of all trades, which I probably am gonna end up doing to the extent that the engine allows that. Yeah, I'm gonna say no to the bard. I'm sorry. We already have a class that starts with bar, so yeah, we're gonna go with Paladin and Divine Summoner, I think. That sounds decent. Diniel, what the heck? Mandric the Paladin. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Can we go back? We can, and obviously I don't even remember what portrait I chose, but probably not a very Paladin-like one. No, we're gonna go with a woman Paladin, actually. Because for many years, well, I haven't played WoW in a pretty long time at this point, but for the last couple of years, whenever I did play, my main character has been a female Paladin. Female human Paladin, even so. I mean, none of these look anything like her, but I guess we're gonna have her? I don't know, it's maybe a little bit too lightly armored. I like her armor. Not so sure about the face, though. Likewise here. I guess she looks more Paladin-like, maybe. Although she has a sword there, and I don't know if I'm going to be using a sword. I'm overthinking this. I'm going to go with her. Paladin. Wengatha. No. More Thalian. They like their Thalians. Erithorian. Or the Ians, anyway. Elegatha. Mordarak. Morvana. Morvana? No, I'm going to have to go with my WoW character's name, obviously, so... Oh, not... minus the Q. And we've seen this character... characters of this name in several of my playthroughs. Or you might have seen several characters named as such, if you've been following my channel for a while. Character Yali. Which god does this character pray to? I mean... some divine power, I guess? Lord of Stone and Earth. I guess if I want her to be good at healing, I should probably focus on the Lord of Radiance and Life. He rules over the stars and the firmament as the most powerful of all of Shulnari, I guess. Some would even go so far as to say he's the king of all Shulnari. He alone possesses the ability to breathe life into the creations of the Lords of Xulima. Maximum power points plus 5%. Okay, we start with like 5 or 6. So that's not gonna do much at first. But sure. I mean, this seems like the one we should go with, probably. Experience gained. Ooh, I like that. You know what? I'm honestly probably going to just go ahead and delete the randomly generated characters that I made before, because... yeah, I'm just gonna make my own. I'm just gonna do that off camera now that we basically have the composition I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna stick to the classes I chose, or that were chosen for me. I suppose I could technically go for that Divine Summoner instead of a mage and go for someone else, but I do like having a pure mage, you know, like, who really focuses on one thing and one thing alone, just destroying my enemies. So, yeah. I'm gonna try to make them as glass cannony as possible, basically. So yeah. Even if it's a bit basic, I do want my mage and my thief. And maybe actually make the thief more of a ranger, if that's possible. Seems like it might be. Yeah, but I mean, now that I see that there is this much customization, and there's a thing... I wonder though, wait, the thing is experience gained for the entire party, or is that only for the character? I guess other skills or other effects are character specific, right? So why would this be party-wide? Still, I might want someone with this aspect, I guess. Dreams and works. I really just wanted to see if there's anyone who specifically like improves healing magic or something. Resistances. Strength. Combat speed. For my thief, probably. And max hit points. Oh yeah, okay, I mean, I guess I'm gonna give this to my barbarian, probably. He's gonna have plenty of strength as it is, right? Although, +3? Doesn't seem... That seems like a lot, actually. But I guess I do want him to survive in the front lines. I need him to survive in the front lines, so... Yeah. Okay, right. So I'm gonna pause recording, and I'm gonna create my party, which is gonna take forever, but yeah, we're skipping that step. And I will meet you again in just a few moments. Okay, so I went with, well, yeah, as you can, so, first of all, it turns out if you click remove a current character, well, maybe I just read that wrong, remove a current character. I thought it said remove current character, but no, you can actually pick one of the current additional characters other than the main character, obviously, so yeah. That was an option all along, but I did go ahead and recreate the Barbarian and Mage as well, as I said. Went for a different portrait with the Mage, because I kind of thought she looked cool. Not sure if she's necessarily supposed to be a Mage, but, you know, with these kinds of portrait choices, you can always just make up your own headcanon, basically. Right, so we have default character, who I'm curious to find out what kind of skills he starts with, or if we get to customize him as well. We have our paladin, specialized in hammers, or yeah, hammers and maces, I guess, and with that god of life, who grants extra PP, which she does not start out with a lot, so we'll see how that works out in terms of healing. I mean, worst case scenario, I suppose we might have our mage, who also starts out with significantly less PP than the randomly created one. Interesting. Maybe that one... I wonder. No, but 5% from that divine blessing would not really make that difference. I thought I think that other mage had like 20 PP to start with, or something. Or maybe I was just thinking about our summoner with 22. Either way, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the mage was in a similar range, but you know, I'm sure that's going to be totally fine. I guess either her, or well, maybe I suppose more like the divine summoner, who's already using the divine school of magic, might also be able to just straight up learn healing in addition to summoning things. We'll see. We'll make it work, I'm sure. So yeah. Anyway, gave her that one. We have Gaspar, who's not really named after anything in particular. I went with a couple of random names, and I got something. I got a pretty amusing name that was close to this, and I just figured I'd switch it up slightly. So yeah, for him I went with whichever god it was that gives the XP bonus, because why not, I guess. Then we have 12, spelled like this because for no particular reason really, other than I thought just spelling out 12 would have seemed a bit weird. Her name is actually an homage to another WoW character of mine that has been inactive for a long time. Since before, really, this game even came out, which is also crazy to think about. Yeah, so she's a thief. I specialized her in bows and crossbows, I suppose. We'll see. I think she starts with a bow, but we could go either way, of course. If we find some nice crossbows, maybe that would be a bit more interesting, less default than actually using bows. And I went with the nature deity, goddess, I believe. I forget what the bonus was. I did not go with the one that just straight up gives agility. I fought my, I fought my desire to min-max and give every class the god with the bonus that seemed the most fitting, you know. Well, in some cases. For Oron, well, I suppose, well, yeah, here, meet Oron, the barbarian. That name is also kind of slightly an homage to a WoW character of mine of the past. A little bit. Also, I kind of like the sound of it. It sounds like Oron from Final Fantasy X, which is, you know, a game that I really like. And, you know, it's spelled differently, though. To be different. Just to be different. And, yeah, I gave him the HP bonus instead of the strength bonus. And I also chose not to specialize him in axes, well, or maces and hammers, because our paladin's using those. But instead I made our barbarian use swords, because that specifically mentioned great swords and claymores, and I like the idea of having a barbarian with a greatsword for a change, which is slightly less standard, I guess, than your typical axe or a big hammer. So we start with a short sword, unfortunately, but hopefully we can upgrade that to a bigger, more fitting sword soon enough. Or maybe make him dual wield or something. We'll see what options there are. And then, last but not least, we got the Kithara, another name that you might be familiar with from past Let's Plays of mine. A name that I like reusing. And yeah, she's a mage. What else is there to say? Specialized in... I think I gave her whatever goddess it was that increases initiative by 15%, because I figured it might be useful to have our mage just start with... start the combat maybe with, I don't know, debuff, maybe putting enemies to sleep if that's an option, or otherwise just blasting them with a fireball before they get a chance to do anything. Sounded like it could be useful. And I didn't want to also give her the extra PP and min-max, because we already had one character. So I have everyone with different deities, unless Golan starts with one that the others already have. And and every character, I want to say that every single character had the chance, had the choice of also using pole weapons, which the description there confirmed my suspicion that those do indeed allow you to... So they include everything from staffs, which is the starting pole weapon, but also spears and halberds and the like. And they do allow you to attack from the back row. So yeah, there are rows, and I figured with 6 characters in the party, that pretty much had to be a row system. And yeah, so both the summoner and mage start with the staff, and our thief, the third character to inhabit the back row, is going to have a ranged weapon. And the other 3 are going to be in the front. And so I'm hoping to be able to specialize Golan in some melee weapon other than hammers or swords. So I guess axes are left, and why not make our main character use an axe? Just, to mix things up a little bit. Sure. I wish to go with this group. Start the adventure. Finally. Nice art.
It was said that it was to be the darkest and bloodiest age in the history of man. On the great continent of Rodinia, the 2 largest kingdoms began a great war that would drag every country and village into an endless stretch of death and chaos. Many begged and prayed to the gods for help, but the gods never answered. In the safety of Brina, a small island in the far east of Rodinia, the echoes of war thundered louder with each passing day. In those ill-fated times, those who govern our destiny decided that I, Gowlan the explorer and navigator, would do my part to shape history. So I was chosen by Golat, the master of works, to be his herald on Earth. In that time, I understood very little of the true meaning of those grave and profound words. The gods who once lived on the lost continent of Xulima years ago were engaged in battle with the Guardian of Souls, and as their power waned, the power of their enemies waxed. Golat commanded me to sail to Xulima, and once there, liberate the sacred temples of the divine. Little hope remained in the world, as long as our Lord Protectors continued their battles beyond the distant stars. Without them, nothing could stop the ruin of Rodinia. And so, it was then that I gathered my allies and set sail from Brina to the east. The wind and the currents guided us across the vast ocean of Morovia. The clouds and the mists were our constant and only companions. 2 weeks later, the clouds divided, and at last we felt the light of the sun once more. And there it was. Beyond the horizon, the land of legend. Xulima, home of the creators.
Okay, nice. Kind of reminiscent of Baldur's Gate, this whole, the way this, intro text is presented. Although I'm sure there are other games who've done it like this. Possibly, probably before Baldur's Gate, but still. Oh, you can repeat it. No. Examine everything in the surrounding environment. You can find hidden objects and collect many herbs by looking closely. Oh no, is there going to be crafting? Okay. I also hope that I can rearrange my party, because that was not an option, and obviously this is not the order that I want. But surely, no, that has to be. That absolutely has to be an option. Movement and exploration. Use the left mouse button to move to your desired location, or to interact with objects. Hold down the control key to run. Oh, can we just default to running? You can also toggle the the auto run mode with the Alt key. Use the right mouse button anytime you want more information or help with something on the screen. You can also use the arrow or WASD keys to move on the map. Awesome. That's what I was kind of hoping for. Those waves are honestly kind of loud. But I'm really only going to know what sound balancing is going to be like with my voice and everything after this first episode is recorded. So I hope it's fine for now. Actually, let's see. There aren't really that many options. And yeah, this is not what I defaulted to. I did actually up the voice volume, which also started at 50%. Like music. Honestly, I think we want to go with less ambient. It is weird to me how that is set to 100%. And sound effects, I mean, I suppose that depends. What about me? Raise that a little bit as well. So music is audible. On my end it's audible, but it sounds kind of nice. Definitely doesn't feel overpowering. Maybe let's not have ambient louder than the music. And sound effects, I guess it depends. So far I haven't really heard them. I guess it's mostly going to be a thing in combat. We'll see. Time to show help. Okay, interesting. Difficulty, yep. Yes, please. Combat messages log. Oh, combat messages disabled. Why would I not want combat messages? No, I think I want those. Even though the default is off. Okay, let's leave them disabled. I'm sure it's not going to make a difference in the first couple of tutorial combats that we're going to be having. Right. Maybe audio is better now. Okay, so we can move. Alt toggles running. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's an acceptable exploration speed. The Great Ocean. Far to the west lies the Isle of Brina, where you first set out on this mission. You look out into the horizon and trying to find it, but it's impossible. Yeah, after 2 weeks voyage. Contemplating the vast ocean, you feel very small. A chill runs through your body as you ask yourself if you'll ever be able to return home. Okay, let's. I gotta find out if you can, how you can combat formation. Okay, yeah, that's gonna do it. Interesting default setup. So we definitely want you in the back row, obviously, and you in the front row, and you're wait. You're the summoner, you're the mage, you're the thief, right? I chose that portrait for the thief? I guess I did. Drag pointer to change the character's default position in combat. A character cannot be in the bottom row if there's nobody in front of him. Oh. Yeah, okay. So I needed to have at least 3 front row fighters. I guess, because you cannot... Wait, you can do this? Cannot be in the bottom row if there's nobody in front of him. So if I do this... Yeah, okay, it doesn't allow it. Fair enough. That's okay. Sure. Let's have the paladin in the lead, I guess, or, well... I don't know if this matters. Let's do that. Can we... I would kind of like to have my characters in a different order over here, but I don't know if that's an option. Double click on this portrait, press the round button below the portrait, or use the C key. Round button below the... Okay, so the name, basically. Okay, let's actually see what you're all about. Okay, kind of balanced stats, except your... What is this? EN? Energy. Yeah, you're not a spellcaster, I guess. Very much strength-based, which is what I was kind of hoping and assuming that... And you start with an axe! That's perfect! How did you know, game? Huh. I'm sure that's that's just how it happens to be, and I just guessed correctly, I guess, or, well, I mean, I didn't really guess. I expected him to start with the sword, and I thought I'd just switch him over to axes as soon as I get a chance, but, well, I don't even need to switch. Okay, and weapons have requirements, interesting. So I'm assuming that these stats are going to go quite a bit higher, not at all adhering to, like, D&D standards. Proves the following. Every 2 points above 8 increases the damage of physical attacks by 1. Okay. So, we got a name with relatively small numbers here, at least initially, and I do appreciate that a lot, actually. That makes every little increase that much more impactful, right? Every 5 points above 10, you gain an extra damage point. Oh, okay. Max armor weight capacity. Alright, so that's dependent on strength. Ability to equip heavy weapon. Alright, okay. Can you actually... Will you tell me? A shield on the slot unless your current weapon is two-handed. Okay, it doesn't say anything about two-handing weapons. Alright. Can we unequip? Ah, yes. Weapon in the slot. Auto-equip? Yeah, you double-click and it just equips it automatically. I guess we come with no equipment other than our weapons, so we're basically naked. Well, I mean, I guess normal clothing is implied, except for the barbarian, who has a loincloth and nothing else, and just cross leather belts or metal belts across the chest, which I don't think really qualify as armor. Man, I almost want to start over and remake the party so that everyone's in the proper order in this list. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I want my fighters in the top and the, basically the front row and the top and the back row at the bottom, as it is in combat. But I can live with it if there is no way to actually change it. Right, what else? Can we see skills? I guess, no, this is just items. Drop item, okay. Right, item will be lost, fair enough. Can we unequip this and drag this to a different character? Can we not do that? Oh, we have a shared inventory. That's actually even better. Okay, I was thinking too old school here. Gotcha. Right, you start with that. I haven't even paying attention to the stats. Obviously, there's a lot of information here. So that the brass mace, we have a star rating underneath the item name. So I guess that's like quality level or something. Maybe you can upgrade your equipment, or you just find better stuff. Or buy better stuff. We will see. 5 attack, I guess. 7. Is it durability? Or is it... Oh, wait. Attack. That's... Modifies hit chance and maximum damage in combat. Okay. Hit chance and maximum damage. As well as the potency of bleed, stun, and wound effects. Depending on the equipped weapon. Okay. Damage. Max damage. Okay. Indicates the maximum amount of damage in HP that can be inflicted with normal attacks. So before armor, I suppose this, with her current weapon, she can deal a maximum of 7 damage. Interesting. Stun. Okay. Good. I mean, I was briefly worried about there being weapon durability, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm just going to assume that that's not actually a thing. Right, instead that is max damage right there. I guess we got bleed, stun, and what is this? Wounds, ah yes. Wounds inflicted by each attack. So, by default with this weapon, none. Wounded combatant suffers a stacking penalty of 5 points to all actions. Attack, spellcast, evasion, etc. Well, that seems rough. If that happens to us, for sure. Right, bleed damage. Bleeding combatant will lose HP every time a full combat turn has passed. Okay. Some creatures, such as undead, are immune to bleed effects. Yeah, that makes sense. And finally, the stun duration caused by each attack in seconds. In seconds? Wait. But this is not a real-time game, though. A stun combatant cannot act until the effect wears off. Some sturdy creatures are immune to stun effects. Interesting. 8 seconds. Huh. I mean, I'm sure the game is going to explain everything, but I do like to look at things, even if it's overwhelming at first. Defense reduces physical damage taken. Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. Let's see. Attack 15, 7 max damage. No stun, but he can actually cause wounds with his sharp weapon. Fair enough. Attack 18 because... Why actually? She has less strength. I didn't even finish looking at attributes, so who knows? Oh, he starts with this experience increasing god. Okay. Disciple. Oh yeah, disciple of Golot, not Golo. We're not waiting for Golo here. Golot has already spoken to us. Right. Okay. Master of dreams and works. He's said to be the most clever god and possesses the power to control the mind of any creature of his choosing. In this case, Gowlin. He's also the architect and maker of the world. The divine temples and magical artifacts he has built have no equal amongst all other creations of the gods. Sounds pretty badass. But then, you know, they are a god. Right, Alnayat, Radiance and Life. We have looked at that before, of course. Yeah, he also has Golot as his god of choice. Attack 13, 6 max damage, also some stun. Which is honestly, I mean, I guess early on it's going to be relatively even. But I'm sure the dedicated fighters are going to be far ahead of the spellcasters before too long. Here we have 12. I know it's an odd name, but you know. Disciple of Fabrit. I guess it's not Febre, it's Fabrit. The Lady of Nature. Right, evasion plus 10, yeah. I guess I went with Lady of Nature just because that felt kind of fitting for a ranger, archer kind of guy, kind of, you know, type of character. She's the caring mother of all that grows in the wilds and gave life to the world's flora when it was but a barren desert. Every single tree of Xulima's forest is considered to be a sacred gift passed down by the goddess herself. I mean, sure, why not? A nature-loving thief. Oron. Who is a disciple of Nalayat, the Lady of the Seas. She is a compassionate goddess who governs the tides and oceans of the world. A single tear from Nalayat can cause endless tidal waves to surge, while a single moment of joy may soothe the most rebellious seas. She is the most empathetic of all the Shulnari, and cares deeply for each and every living creature. So he's a very, like, more spiritually focused kind of barbarian. Not necessarily just a, you know, a brute, but more like the, you know, part of a kind of nature-worshipping and kind of introspective clan, battle-hardened, but from somewhere near the sea, I suppose. You'd think that our apparently explorer and ship captain main character would maybe be a disciple of that particular god, but nope, or goddess. But nope. Anyway, yeah. Figured I'd make him a bit tankier since he's not going to be focusing on heavy armor, although he could, I guess. There's nothing really stopping him, right? Oh, you can switch it portrait at any moment if you so choose. But I'm happy enough with those, I guess, with those that I chose. Right, and his... Oh, wow. Holy crap. 28 attack. I guess he does start with the highest strength. Still, that seems like a lot more than my other two fighters. Not that I'm complaining. Okay, he can make people bleed. I like that. Right, so he makes wounds. She stuns. Right, she actually has high attack as well. I like that. And she also can cause wounds with her shots. I wonder if bows are primarily for causing wounds, and maybe crossbows are different because they make... Maybe they stun because they have heavier impact, or maybe they cause bleeding, or I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe it's not necessarily defined so narrowly just by weapon type. Anyway, he causes bleeding, so we got a little bit of everything. I like that. Yeah, and finally we got Cathara, the mage. It starts out with a spell called Spark, apparently. And yeah, she uses the same staff. And has similar stats as our Divine Summoner, so similar combat abilities here. Right. And they can both technically attack from the back row to save some mana early on, or some power points. Right, let's finish looking at attributes, I guess. I don't know. Am I gonna make this first episode extra long so to absolutely ensure that no one is ever gonna watch it? Or am I just going to finish looking at a few things here and call it a first episode right then and there? Before even really starting with the actual tutorial? Yeah, maybe, why not? It's gonna be a slow start. It's a old school RPG. What did you expect going into this, right? Right, strength, we did look at this. Base value +7, current value 7. Okay, so that's just for the character, of course, the base value. Right, it's gonna be modified by equipment later on, I suppose. Or maybe temporary buffs. Constitution improves the following. Each point between 1 and 10 increases total hit points by 2. Okay, between 1 and 10. Above 10 increases total hit points by 4, I see. Okay. Total inventory weight that the party can carry. Interesting. So that's... every character contributes a little bit to max weight, I guess. So these 33 kilograms are between all 6 party members? That is not a whole lot. That's a... yeah, the party can carry up to 33 units of weight. This value depends on the combined constitution total of your party. If the maximum allowed weight is exceeded, the party will travel slower, which increases passive food consumption. Oh no, there's food? Uh-oh. Is that food down there? Oh, well... I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but I'm not a huge fan of having to manage, food and or thirst or things like that. I don't know. It depends on how it's implemented, I suppose. I'm gonna try to keep an open mind for now. Agility. The agility attribute improves the following: weapon hit chance and potency of weapon effects. Okay, so stun, bleed, wounds. Defense against physical damage. Ability to equip complex weapons. Okay. Chance to successfully cast a spell while afflicted by wounds. Oh. Interesting. Well, we'll see how much of a problem wounds are going to be, but I guess everyone really wants a decent amount of agility. And some constitution. I guess the spellcasters don't really care about strength at all, so that at least we can pretty safely ignore on them. And I suppose... damage of physical attacks. So would that actually affect range weapons, which are also physical, right? So does our thief want strength? She doesn't start out with a lot, making me think that probably not. We get speed, evasion against physical attacks, time of recovery between combat actions. Interesting. So that's not... So it's a turn-based system? I read at least that it's going to be turn-based. But if there are things like stun duration in seconds and variable time between combat actions, maybe it's more like an ATB, a timeline basically, where everyone moves along at their respective speed, and various actions cause you to get slowed down or get pushed back further or pushed ahead even on that time bar. Something like that. Combat initiative, which combatants take their turn first in battle, yes. Right, okay. And finally, energy. Each point between 1 and 10 increases total power points by 1. Each point above 10 increases total power points by 2. Right. Yeah, I guess paladins in this setting aren't necessarily very much focused on spellcasting. But they can cast some spells. Well, I suppose that's gonna be where I... Oh? Uh-oh. Okay, good. I clicked on X and nothing happened for a moment there, which worried me a little bit. Okay, mouse movement is also... Okay, whoa. Yes, great option. It's fantastic. The ship Velamor. A strong current seems to drag everything to the continent, preventing your sailboat, the Velamor, from leaving the shore. What is it that moves the tides of Xulima? It seems unnatural. Well, we have no reason to leave yet. Food? Food reserves. Your food reserves will last for 23 hours and 10 minutes. Is that real time, or... Movement on this terrain is modified to 60% of normal speed. Interesting. Do we get a tooltip on... No, it's a ship. On the date? Is time passing while I'm standing still? I'm gonna assume probably, although it doesn't seem to progress very quickly. I'm guessing... I mean, this is obviously just money. I was just wanting to see if there was going to be a tooltip map. Oh, I guess this is a mini-map, and we're just currently in the very bottom corner of it. Ah, yes, okay. Okay. Can we zoom this? No. World map. Oh, boy. Where do we start? I'm guessing here? Maybe? Tranquil Coast? Regional map. It doesn't tell me here what the area is called, I suppose, but... Okay, anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna end this episode before we reach the 1 hour mark. The clock is not advancing, so I'm guessing that maybe it only does while I'm moving, which I really like if that's the case. Yeah, well, quick initial thoughts. Very positive. Interface seems nice and modern, and, you know, lots of redundant options for everything, like key binding wise. I like that. I wish I could rearrange my characters, but that's really the only gripe I've encountered so far. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how this is going to play and what this is all going to be about. Obviously, everything is very confusing still, very overwhelming, but you know, I'm going to get used to things in due time. And yeah, next time we're actually going to start playing, I suppose. So, as always, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and I shall see you real soon. Bye-bye.